There is nothing from this world that I can take with me when I leave it. You can be doing everything right in a situation and it still goes left. No, baby girl, no. That test right there was for me to see that I deserve better. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I just decided it's time to start talking about some stuff. I've been wanting to set up a YouTube channel for a long time, but procrastination and all these things, self-doubt, etc., etc. And now we're here. And I'm like, we don't have a name for a channel. We don't have an idea of exactly what we want to talk about, but we just got some stuff that we want to say. So maybe just start recording it, you know. I have to get used to looking at the lens and not the screen, because I keep doing that, but whatever. So if you see me looking over there, you know what it is I'm doing. I'm looking at the screen, but I'm going to try and look at you guys because that's what I need to do. Anyway, where was I? Trying to thought. Okay, let me, okay, yep. So this morning I was having a conversation on Instagram with a friend of mine. So she started off as a client and has ended up as a friend. That is over 25 years that I have known this woman. So she messaged me and we were having a conversation. Our birthdays are literally next door to each other. So hers is the day after mine. So every year she always messages me like, oh, your birthday's coming up. Anyway, I messaged her. I don't really celebrate my birthday. So, you know. And then she let me know a couple of things as to the reason why this one is so kind of significant for her. You know, she's reaching 50. And for her, because her mum passed away, and also my friend's brother passed away. You know, when somebody passes away, we grieve. And that process, you can't describe to somebody what that process is going to be like. It's one of them conversations we don't really have. And especially as a black woman coming from the black community, I know that we don't really talk about grief. We don't really talk about death. It's interesting because as a Muslim, this last 12 years for me, I have learned how healthy it is to talk about death. It's the only thing that we have guaranteed in this life. And then the only other thing that's guaranteed is the fact that we have no idea when. You can't control it. You can make certain plans within reason, i.e. your funeral, maybe if you're the type to go and get insurance or whatever, you do these things. That's about it. You can't plan nothing else. You can't plan how, you can't plan when. It's out of your control. But it's going to happen. And so as a Muslim, we get really not comfortable, but we get really used to talking about death because Allah speaks about it in the Quran extensively. Extensively, but a lot, definitely. It's mentioned a lot. And it's a reminder for us when we think about death to be grateful for what we have in front of us, for what we have now, for all of the blessings, for all of the things that we have, the people that we have in our lives, and to channel that gratitude towards our Creator, Al-Khaliq, Al-Malik. Anyway, so the conversation went on and we spoke about a couple of different things. And then she said to me, but Shez, You've always been achieving ever since I first met you as a 19-year-old. You've always broke boundaries regardless of your situation. Even when you were sad at times with the baby father, you kept it moving. And I can count on less than one hand how many times I saw emotion where you had a few tears in a yo yai. Yo yai. But even then, you kept it moving. Not wanting to break for the sake of your kids and maybe yourself, because you somehow knew if you stopped and thought about it, certain things, it would be too much and you'd not be able to move forward because of the hurt. I'm in so much awe of you, I don't think you comprehend. To start with an idea and then move forward and make money, enjoy, and then go on to do side hustles based on talks with clients. And no doubt your findings along the way is an absolute achievement. Kudos to you, hun. I'm following behind you, albeit later, because you actually motivate me to make more of a mark in life, not just with my son, but with the world. Kiss, kiss, kiss. One of the first things that I picked up on was, I said to her, it's funny because the perception that we have of people looking outside is so different to what that person thinks of themselves. And when I think about me, like, I'm only just now getting to a place where I can take the compliments and I can, agree and say, yeah, you know what? For real, man, I did that. But at the same time, it's important. It's important for me to remember I did not do that by myself. I did not get here just by my own actions alone. As a Muslim, I know without a doubt, if I didn't have my faith in Allah, if I didn't have the understanding that everything we go through, all of the calamities, all of the situations, all of the stress, all of the hardships, if I didn't have my faith, I wouldn't have the understanding that every single thing is a test, and it's a test to make me better. It's a test to make me learn. If I didn't have my faith, I wouldn't know the necessity to focus on my intention first for doing everything. If I didn't have my faith, I wouldn't have the focus of serving others and not just myself. My faith has strengthened my reasons, my purpose, because it's bigger than me. And no amount of success in this world is determined by my actions alone. There is nothing from this world that I can take with me when I leave it. Nothing. And nothing that I have in this world actually belongs to me. This last year, the tests that have come up for me have made me focus in on this one lesson that I've been needing to solidify in my own psyche. Nothing belongs to us. Allah gives and Allah takes away. And Allah gives to whom He pleases and Allah takes away from whom He pleases. We don't have no control over that. You can be doing everything right in a situation and it still goes left. And you're left puzzled. You're left asking questions like, what happened there? Hold on a minute, what's going on? the lesson and the reminder is that nothing belongs to you, and it can be gone in a second. It can be gone as quick as that. Don't get comfortable. This world is temporary. This life is a test. Because in the test, how do you respond? What is your reaction? Do you react with feeling like you were entitled to have that and to keep it because you earned it? Or do you react with recognizing that you are not exempt from calamity? And so when things go wrong, do you keep your head above water or do you allow yourself to sink? There's a verse in the Quran in Surah Al-Baqarah where Allah says, hold on a minute, let me find it. You know, every time you hear a certain verse, it's almost like you've heard it for the first time again. And you deep that verse, you get a different understanding. Let me just find it. So, it's two verses, verse 19 to 20, Surah Al-Baqarah, which is the second surah in the Quran. So Allah says in English, because I don't read Arabic and this is an English Quran, so I'm just going to read it. It says, or it is like a rainstorm from the sky, within which is darkness, thunder and lightning. They put their fingers in their ears against the thunderclaps in dread of death. But Allah is encompassing of the disbelievers. The lightning almost snatches away their sight. Every time it lights the way for them, they walk therein. But when darkness comes over them, they stand still. And if God had willed, he could have taken away their hearing and their sight. Indeed, God is over all things competent. You know what? It's so true and it's so deep. When you are somebody who channels everything that you do around your faith in Allah, your faith in the Most High, you understand, or you begin to understand, and the more it happens, the more you understand it, that when everything's fine and you're saying you've got faith in Allah and that's great, that is easy to do. It's harder when you're in a problem to still continue to have that faith and walk and do everything with the reliance upon Allah. That's when you learn to do it. That is why the tests come. The tests come because we have to learn reliance on Allah, and the only way we learn reliance on Allah is when we are going through the test, when we are going through the hardships, when we are going through the calamity, because it's in the midst of the test that Allah wants to see how you're going to respond. Allah wants to see if you are going to give up, if you're going to stick your fingers in your ears because you're scared of the thunder and lightning, or if you're going to continue walking regardless, knowing that Allah is guiding your footsteps. Allah is guiding you to where he wants you to be. Allah is guiding you to safety. Allah is bringing you out of the problem. Allah is bringing you ease. So when my friend said to me, even when you were sad at times with the baby father and you kept moving, I can count on less than one hand how many times I saw emotion where you had a few tears in your eye, but you kept it moving, not wanting to break for the sake of your kids. I don't want that strong trophy.
All my life I had to fight.
Because I now can look back at myself and know that back then, when I was less able to be vulnerable and be honest about how I was feeling and what I was going through, that was hard. And especially when I was less able to be honest with myself, because you got to be honest and vulnerable with yourself first. You've got to be able to recognize the situation that you're in and that it's not good for you. You've got to be able to recognize that, no, right now is not the time to be holding everything up and saying, yeah, I'm strong enough to carry this. I'm strong enough to take this disrespect. I'm strong enough to continue to go on with this because this is what I need to do to prove to who?
Prove what?
To prove to who that I am strong. No, baby girl, no. That test right there was for me to see that I deserve better. I deserved better than what I was in. I deserved better than what I was happy to settle with. That test kept on happening and kept on happening and kept on happening. And it wasn't until I turned to my Lord to ask him for help and guidance that I started to see that I need to be out of this situation. I need to be out of this situation. I need to do better for myself. How can I do for anyone if I don't do for myself first? You can't pour from an empty cup. You can't. How can I do for my children? How can I present an example? How can I be what they need me to be if I'm not being what I need to be for myself first and foremost? So it's not even about not showing emotions. And actually, my kids have seen me break. I did say that to her in one of my voice notes when I replied. My kids have seen me break down. They've seen me break down. And that's okay. Because I need my children to know that it's not always going to be okay. And that is okay. You're not always going to have the outcome that you wanted. Because sometimes what you want is not even good for you. And Allah knows best. I feel like so much of what we think about ourselves is based on the expectations that are outside of us, the expectations of family, parents, society, culture. Like so much expectations is placed on us from outside of us, that when we don't meet the expectations, we feel like we failed. And we don't look for what it is that we're supposed to learn from this situation. When actually that's what we're supposed to do. And the same situation keeps on happening to you because you haven't learnt the lesson. You haven't learnt what you needed to learn about yourself in that situation. So yeah, that was the thought that I wanted to share today. And I'm done. I'll see you soon, I guess. Assalamu alaikum.